So what is going on, everybody? Fernando Silva here with another video, and today what I want to talk about is actually Microsoft Office on the iPad Pro. I know there's a ton of videos talking about and touting on the power of the iPad Pro and what it can do, especially the new M1 iPad Pros that came out about 6 months ago. But most of those videos are kind of surrounded around, the creative side of the iPad Pro and how to use the iPad Pro from a creative standpoint, right? Using like Photoshop and Affinity Photo to render images and create different layers. And then also from the video editing side, how quickly you can render a video and how quickly you can export it and then upload it to YouTube. So a lot of the iPad Pro use cases that I've seen online has to be centered all around on the creative side. And what I like to do every now and then is actually go back to the business side, right? Because that's how I started with Microsoft Office. And I want to show off exactly how you can use the iPad Pro as a business professional who isn't really focused on the creative side, right? This is for somebody who's maybe a salesman in corporate America or a saleswoman in corporate America, somebody who's managing a team, somebody that just uses Microsoft Office at home for personal use and some tiny little tasks like just Microsoft Word documentation, using Excel for budgetary needs and things like that. And a lot of that is missed on the iPad Pro. And what Microsoft has done over these years is they've actually kind of embraced the fact that there's a lot of iPad Pro and Apple users that use the Microsoft Suite on a daily basis. So what they've done is they actually added a bunch of new applications, they added a bunch of new updates to the main Microsoft Suite of applications, and they added one Microsoft Office kind of like hub application that is built specifically for the iPad Pro, and it works amazingly. And on top of that, they also came out with a brand new service called Microsoft 365 Personal, which basically what it is now, it's the old Microsoft Office 365 account, that $10 a month subscription service that they used to have. And now what they did was they lowered the price, they upped all the features, like the amount of storage you can use in the cloud, all the different applications that you can use. So we're going to be going over that new subscription, and then I'm going to create a series. So this video is going to be focused on that new Microsoft Office Hub application, and then stay subscribed. Be sure to comment down below which one you want to see next, because we're going to be going over Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint, and all the other auxiliary Microsoft Office applications or suite of applications that you guys comment below. So definitely leave some comments down below, hit the subscribe button, sit back, relax, and enjoy and exactly how we can use Microsoft Office on the iPad Pro and still be as productive as if you were using it on a Mac OS or even a Windows computer. But let's get into it. Okay everybody, let's get started with this video. So the first thing that I do like to do is show you guys exactly which software that I'm running. So if you guys do follow the channel, you know that I have my main iPad Pro always on the beta program. So right now to the public, we do have iPadOS 15.1, and I do highly recommend that you guys download that to make sure you're as stable as possible, and also for all the new security updates that are coming out with 15.1. But I'm personally on the beta version of 15.2. It is the beta 1 version of 15.2. It just came out, but I'm showing you this because I want to let you know that even though I'm on the beta program, these Microsoft applications, they run extremely stable, and there isn't really much worry needed, especially if you're worried about some data loss, because of the fact that everything gets backed up into the OneDrive cloud and Microsoft's cloud. So you should be okay if you are on the beta program, but if you're not, 15.1 is also great and it'll work probably just that much more stable on the regular public release version. That is what we're dealing with, so we have 15.2, I'm on the beta program. And then also what I want to show off is that my multitasking carousel is currently closed. So the first thing that I want to actually talk about is the Microsoft Office, main suite application. So here you can see that it's just called Office, and the first thing I'm going to show you is just how quickly these things open up, right? Or how quickly this application opens. And that has to do with just the optimization that both Apple has with their M1 chip, but then also Microsoft finally adhering to what Apple wants and coding it properly for the Apple ecosystem to then run as smooth as possible. Like this application opens and closes so quickly, as you can see. So I'm going over here, we'll quit out of it again. And like as you guys just saw, it opens up extremely quickly. I just quit out of it again, so we'll be able to see if I just click on it, within a millisecond it's open. Try doing that on a Windows computer. How long will it take you to open up your Microsoft PowerPoint or your Microsoft Excel on a Windows computer? But this is the Microsoft Office application. We're gonna go over all these other ones in a future video, so stay subscribed for that. But I did wanna show this off because in my opinion, this is the best way to get started if you're a beginner with Microsoft Office, but also if you're using Microsoft Office for the first time on your iPad Pro, because this is the only thing that you would ideally need. Like you don't even need the other applications if you don't really want them. So again, all you're gonna do is sign into your Microsoft account. They are doing that, like I said, that new 1 month free trial with Microsoft 365 Personal. Feel free to sign up for that. It's $6.99 a month, but again, you get a 1 month free trial if you commit to a year, but you can always cancel it before you start getting billed, which is what I usually do. But I digress. Now let's get into this. So here's what you're greeted with. So when you open it up, we'll go back into Office, you're greeted with the home. So basically some new things that were added, right? So now we have this new little notes section that gets added onto here, and this is the most recent documents and files that you've been dealing with from the Microsoft side, and this is all pulled from your OneDrive account. So make sure that you're signed into all of your accounts across all of your Microsoft suite of applications, because it does pull everything from your OneDrive account and puts it onto here. So here you can see we have all our most recent documents. You can even go into shared with me, any pinned ones that you have. To pin different files, as you can see, you just go to the file, go all the way to the right hand side, you click on the little pin right there, go into the pin section, and you can see that it shows up right there. So those are for those files that you really just want to have quick access to. And then if we continue along this setting right here, you can actually see and go in here and search based on whatever you need. So if I need to type in book 11, because that's the file that I'm looking for, it's right here. I can click on here and just invite people, copy link, and send a copy directly from the search tab menu, which is awesome. The next thing that I do actually want to test out is to see how it works within iPadOS, right? So before we leave this page, I'm actually going to grab my Apple Pencil, because ideally we should be able to go into the search bar and scribble in here, which it seems like we can. So if I go in here and use my Apple Pencil and use book, hopefully you can take that chicken scratch. Wow, that's amazing. Did you guys see how bad I wrote book down? It has it right there. We'll do a space. We'll put in the number 7. There it is, book 7. So you can see that, again, Microsoft is being integrated more and more with iPadOS native features, which, again, I'm all for as a Microsoft heavy user. So that's good to know that the Apple Pencil is recognized inside of the search menu, and we're going to continue to test some of those things out. But as we go along to the right hand side, this is just your sort button or your filter button. So you can filter everything based on, the type of media that you're using, the type of file, if PDF, forms, notes, whatever you want. You can clear it after you're done, and you're good to go. So that is the main home screen. And if we go to the bottom right, this little new plus button is actually on every single screen that I'm going to show you as we go forward. But this just allows you to actually create new documents from scratch. So here you can create a new note. You have the ability to scan documents in real time. So you have the ability to just press scan right here, and then it'll ask permission for your camera. And what you can do is actually I'm going to allow all things, and then basically it's going to start to scan around to see what it can actually pick up and scan, which is awesome. You can do documents, photos, you can do a whiteboard, you can do different actions. So here, extract printed text. So use your camera to extract printed text from 30 different languages. So if I pull out, something that has an actual text on here, it should be able to pick it up and extract it. We'll press confirm here. It's extracting the data, and let's see what happens. I've actually never tried this new feature because it's brand new. And then here it is. So it has Chime, Visa, credit, which are all things that are actually on that card. So, and then at the end of the day, you can share it, copy it, do whatever you need to. You can highlight it, move it around. We're going to X out of that. I'm going to discard this because we don't really need it. But as you can see, it's taking a note out of Apple's, new live text feature where you can take pictures and extract, words, images, be able to search things like that. So I love that, again, they're integrating as much as possible with the iPadOS operating system. But now if we go on the left-hand side, we have this 4-dot button. And this, I think, was a beautiful addition to Microsoft Office. So these are just different tools which, as a Microsoft user, I would always have to go to a third-party website or get a third-party tool in order to get these done. So here, if you need to sign a PDF, it is now like a PDF editor, right? You can go in here, sign a PDF directly from the Microsoft Office application. You can scan PDFs, so scan pictures and turn them into PDFs. Pictures to PDF, so create a PDF from your pictures that you already have. So if I go on here, and let's say I want to grab this, press this little button down here to get it going, and then it turns into a PDF, and I can do whatever I want, right? So I can ink, I can use my Apple Pencil to write on it, I can confirm that, I can put text on here, say hello, and now it's in PDF format, and I'm good to go. So if you need to create PDFs out of the images that you currently have, by all means, that is now a possibility directly from the application. So I love that feature. We'll get out of here. You have the ability to now document a PDF, so you can convert any document into a PDF format, which again, if you guys know anything about using Microsoft Documents and being able to convert things from PDF to Word and things like that, it's kind of a hassle because you usually have to go to a third party, then they ask you to pay for it essentially. But again, PDF to Word converter built right in. You have the ability to do image to text, so that's what I showed you with that Chime Visa card. Image to table, so extract table from your pictures into Excel. So you're able to extract information from a picture and import it into an Excel document. You can scan QR codes, create forms, and then this is a new one, right? So this Rehearse with Coach, it's relatively new. It's been around for about 6 months now. But basically, you can take a PowerPoint presentation and then pretty much so you can take a PowerPoint presentation where, let's say you only have 15 minutes allotted to make a presentation. You can now time yourself, rehearse with a coach, see exactly how long it takes you to get through that presentation, make sure you're touching on all your points, which I love to see. So here, if I open one of these up, you can now, again, rehearse with presenter coach, get instant feedback as you talk, allow microphone access to start recording. So I'll press right here, we'll allow the microphone access, but I don't really need that right now. So we'll pause it, X out of here, end session, and you're good to go. And here you can see all the analytics that come with the speech to text or the speech rehearsal, right? So total time spent, 3 seconds, 1 slide rehearse, any fillers, basically things like or but all those fillers that we use to elongate our sentences. And again, it gives you like a nice little score we can get in terms of pace. So I love this new little tool, big fan of it. Let's get out of here. And then lastly, the last tool that they have on here is a transfer files tool. So share files between your phone and your computer seamlessly. Okay, so now we got all those new tools out of the way, which again, I think they're awesome, especially because, I mean, technically they're not free since you are paying monthly to use, Microsoft 365. But the fact that they're included in here, that you no longer have to go to those third-party websites, you no longer have to deal with not getting the right resolution in the PDF or the PDF not breaking down correctly into a Word file. I love the fact that they're including all this as a value add to Microsoft customers. And it just works so well on the iPad Pro. But if we continue, we then have your files. So this is where you organize all your OneDrive information, your personal OneDrive right here, which is beautiful to see. So you're able to, again, open up anything you want from here. And then these 3 dots, if we continue on, you can actually share it, open in OneDrive, rename, move, delete, check on the properties of it to see exactly what's going on. So you get a lot of information with this OneDrive file system management, or again, I wish it was a little bit better. I wish we had more of a Finder kind of feel, but for right now, this is kind of how the iPadOS file management system works in general. So again, Microsoft just had to adapt and adopt to that exact file system. But if we continue on, down here, it just lets you know all the Microsoft apps that are included with your subscription, and it lets you know which ones are actually downloaded already for you and which ones you can still get. So here you can see I've downloaded Outlook, Word, Excel, OneNote, PowerPoint, and even Microsoft Edge. And there's a couple other ones like SwiftKey, Bing, Skype, which I don't really know who uses Skype anymore. People just use Teams. But again, it's available. Microsoft Teams is your hub for teamwork in Office 365. And again, it gives you a little blurb as to what these applications do and what they're used for. Go into the settings, you can see your storage accounts, so all the different OneDrive accounts. You can have offline files because you can actually save your files offline. So if you're on the road, like me for instance, I don't have data on my iPad, so if I do need data, I can either tether or hotspot my phone. Who uses the word tether anymore? But you can hotspot your phone, or you can save them offline before you leave in case you have an important presentation and you can't actually connect to that person's Wi-Fi. And there's also a couple settings that you can toggle off and on, so you can auto format as you type, start Word in mobile view. Apple Pencil always draws ink, which is something that I actually like. So every single time I pull the Apple Pencil out, then you know that you're going to actually type something, or for lack of a better term, actually just draw something directly on the screen. But now what I want to show you, and the main reason why I consider this kind of the best beginner way to introduce yourself to Microsoft Office on the iPad Pro, is that again, you can go down here, click create a Word document. I'm going to create one from the template. We'll go into a take notes one, and now you're using Microsoft Word inside of Microsoft Office. So if I go into multitasking, you can see that I'm on Office, right? I'm not on Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word is a different application, right? So this is the Word application, which we're not going to talk about today, but this is the Microsoft Office application. And again, it acts just like any other Microsoft application would. I'm not going to go too in depth because I want to be able to actually show off these in an individual video. But you can see it adopts the iPadOS 13.4 cursor support, so it kind of hovers over and then adapts to the actual view. You have the ability to do whatever you want, right? You can go in here, say hello, and then go down here, highlight all the text. So I'm pressing Apple A here, your shortcuts work. I'm going to type in don't, if I can even type, forget to sub to the channel. So these are all things that I absolutely love about Microsoft, right? It's just an easy little document creator. You can use everything that you need to within the application. You can highlight everything. You can Apple Z stuff. You can highlight everything. You can make it all bold if you want, italicize, underline. You have the ability to highlight everything. So if I want to go right here, highlight everything again, want it all highlighted in yellow, you can change the font color. So I'm going to, whatever you want to do, you're able to do. So if I continue to press enter, you have the ability to do any bullet notes. So from a basic standpoint, Microsoft Word is usable within the Microsoft Office application, which is wonderful. So you have your classic toolbar on the top, indentations, paragraphs, all the different styles that you have. You can even put voice memos on here. So you can actually put voice memos and actually get everything dictated for you, as you can see it happening in real time. And honestly, it's pretty accurate. And that's actually a new feature which I didn't even know existed. So kudos again to Microsoft. But again, you have the ability to insert everything that you would want. You can add tables if you like. Then you can treat that table almost like an Excel file where you can merge all the different cells and stuff like that. And again, the actual toolbar adapts to where you are and what you need it for within the application. So for instance here, you're getting the normal toolbar, but if I go into here, the toolbar totally changes and adds a little table view right here for you, so you can actually edit the actual table that you're working on. So again, it's becoming very, very easy to use, and for beginners especially, this is the perfect way to get started. But you can add text box, shapes, you can use a camera if you want to take a picture, and then add it to the actual file. So you use photo, it gets added right there. You can resize it if you want. And again, I'm using the Magic Keyboard with the trackpad, but it's touch sensitive, so I can grab it with my finger and move it as well, move it around if I want, move it up here. So it works just as advertised and still works as an iPad Pro application if you wanted to. But you can live draw, so I'll grab this, tap on that, start to draw, say hello, annotate whatever I want, put this pencil down, which is cool. And then you also have the ability, so let's say you don't want to shell out $130 because you don't use the Apple Pencil enough, you can just press on this and draw with touch. So I'm using my finger now to draw, and it's very easy to turn off and on. So as you guys saw, document creation, you can pretty much use the entire Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft PowerPoint suite of applications within Microsoft Office. Now I didn't want to go too much more in depth when it came to all these different applications inside of here because we're going to be creating videos for each individual application. But as you guys saw, it can be done and it can all be managed right here. And it all can be done and created directly from, the create a new one. So you can go with the create from a template, and again, go right in here and use it just like a Microsoft Word document or a Microsoft Excel document, which is perfect right within the Microsoft Office app. And then the very last thing that I did want to show you is whether or not you can actually multitask with this, right? So if I go on here, we'll go to the split view, we'll move it to the left. Unfortunately, with the Microsoft Office application, you cannot multitask with the same instance of that application, which is a little bit sad, and I do wish that they would change that. But the good news is that you can actually multitask with a million instances of the other actual main applications. So if you want a bunch of Word documents and multiple instances of Microsoft Word, you can do that. Same with Excel and PowerPoint and pretty much every single other Microsoft application besides Microsoft Office. And I figure they probably did that because, you can actually go to the real applications to get stuff done. But let's get out of this view, go to the normal view, and kind of wrap up this video. So that is pretty much it when it comes to the Microsoft Office Hub application. So as you guys saw, the Hub application is actually tremendous in my opinion, right? You can do anything that you would want that you could do on Microsoft Word or the individual applications. You can do it inside of the Microsoft Office Suite Hub, I guess you would call it. It's just called the Office application. And I just love what Microsoft has been providing to Apple users, especially on the iPad Pro side, because I use my iPad Pro on a daily basis. I'm always on PowerPoint, I'm always on Microsoft Word. I use some Excel. I use Excel pretty much on a daily basis, but I don't go super deep into it. So we're doing some research on how we can actually get some macros done, work with larger databases, pivot tables, and things like that. So stay tuned for a video on Microsoft Excel on the iPad Pro. So the only real downfall that I saw with the Microsoft Office application for the iPad Pro is just the fact that we can't multitask with the same instance of that app. I'm sure they can kind of update it with a software update because again, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, all the other major applications, you can have like 500 instances of the same Word application open and kind of just swap in between them. But for some reason, Microsoft Office can't. And I think the reason is because you're supposed to be using Microsoft Office in conjunction with these other applications. Kind of, again, as your main hub and your main status center of all your different documents and your OneDrive and things like that. But like I said, stay tuned for more videos. We're going back into this series because there's a lot of stuff that they've updated that I really want to go over and how it plays with iPadOS 15 in general, or iPadOS 15.2, because that's what I'm on. I'm on the beta program, and most of you guys are probably on 15.1, and it'll work exactly the same, if not probably a little bit more stable because it's not a beta program. But like I said, comment down below which one you want to see next. In my mind, I think I'm going to be doing either Excel or Microsoft Word, and then kind of go from there. But until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out channel sponsor Paperlike in the description below to keep your screen protected. And also, if you use your Apple Pencil with all these Microsoft products, it's just that much better. But until next time, peace.